Venkat, welcome to your ultimate VIP science exam prep session. I am absolutely pumped to be sitting down with you today. You know, you've got your 7th standard science exam creeping up, and my one and only job as your teacher right now is to make sure you walk into that exam room with total, unbreakable confidence. Today, we're going to completely master Chapter 6, Temperature and Heat. I'll be giving you the exact memory tricks and cheat codes you need so you won't even break a sweat when these questions pop up on your test. So, grab your notebook, let's do this.
Okay, really quick, here is our battle plan for today's explainer. 1, hot, cold, and touch. 2, what is temperature? 3, the temperature scales. 4, meet and/or Celsius. And finally, number 5, master the conversion math.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Hot, Cold, and Touch, the illusion of our senses.
So, Venkat, think about your everyday life for a second. You grab a steaming cup of tea, and yep, it's hot. You bite into some ice cream and it's cold. We rely on our sense of touch literally all the time to navigate the world. But here's the million-dollar question for your exam. Can you actually trust your sense of touch in science? Like, if we want to measure exactly how hot or cold something is our own feeling good enough?
Well, to answer that, we're going to walk through this brilliant little experiment right out of your textbook. Picture 3 glasses lined up right in front of you. The first one has hot water, just hot enough that you can safely touch it. The second one has ice-cold water, and the third glass, sitting right in the middle, just has regular room temperature water. Okay, now you dip your left index finger into the ice-cold water, and your right index finger into the hot water. You hold them there for 1 full minute. Then you quickly pull them out and plunge both of those fingers into that middle glass with the room temperature water. Venkat, the result here is totally crazy. Your left finger, which was freezing a second ago, suddenly feels like the middle glass is hot. But your right finger, coming from the hot water, feels like that exact same middle glass is freezing cold. It's literally the exact same water, but your 2 fingers are giving your brain 2 completely different messages.
And this right here perfectly illustrates a massive exam takeaway. Human touch is totally misleading. The finger from the ice water felt warm, but only relative to what it just experienced. You see, the words hot and cold are just relative terms. To actually describe them in science, we must always have a reference body. Because our own judgment is so easily tricked, science demands that we use a reliable, objective instrument instead of our own feelings.
Which brings us smoothly to Section 2. What is temperature? The scientific measure.
Okay, pen at the ready, Venkat, because you absolutely need to commit this to memory. When your test asks you to define temperature, this is the exact phrase you write down. Temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of a body or a place. That is the official, textbook-perfect scientific definition. It's not just how it feels, but the specific, measurable degree of that heat or lack of heat.
So how do we actually measure that specific degree? Well, since we already proved our fingers are terrible at the job, we use an instrument called a thermometer. Thermometers are actually incredibly clever little tools. They work by relying on the physical properties of substances that literally change based on temperature. Specifically, they use changes in volume. You see, when things get hot, the substance inside the thermometer literally expands and takes up more space. And when it gets cold, it shrinks or contracts. The thermometer just reads that expansion and contraction perfectly every single time, totally taking human error out of the equation.
Okay, so we've got our trusty instrument, but how do we actually read the numbers on it? Let's get into Section 3, the temperature scales, choosing our units. Think about measuring the length of your desk, right? You could use inches, or you could use centimeters. Temperature is the exact same way. We need units. To create a temperature scale, scientists basically pick 2 super reliable reference points and divide the space between them into degrees. The 2 most common scales use pure melting ice and pure boiling water as those reference points. On the Celsius scale, melting ice is placed exactly at 0 degrees and boiling water is at 100 degrees. That creates 100 neat perfect divisions, which, by the way, is exactly what you're going to score on this test. Now, if we compare that to the Fahrenheit scale, it's a bit different. On Fahrenheit, melting ice is at 32 degrees, and boiling water is way up at 212 degrees, which gives us 180 divisions between them. Just as a quick aside, there is a 3rd scale called the Kelvin scale. But hey, don't even stress about that today. You'll tackle Kelvin when you get to your higher classes.
All right, let's take a quick, super fascinating history break. Section 4, meet and/or Celsius. Know your scientist. Because hey, it's always fun to know the actual humans behind the science, right? So Anders Celsius was born in Sweden way back in 1701, and he was born into an entire family of mathematicians and scientists. Science was literally in this guy's blood. Now, we obviously know him for inventing the Celsius scale, which we are still using today, basically unchanged, but he was actually so much more than that. He was a brilliant astronomer, a geographer, and a meteorologist who studied weather forecasting. His contributions to science were just massive. Get this, he was even part of a famous expedition that proved the Earth isn't a perfect round sphere. He helped confirm that our planet is actually a bit flatter at the poles compared to the equator. Pretty cool, right? And in 1741, he built the famous Celsius Astronomical Observatory in Uppsala, Sweden. He was a true scientific legend.
Okay, Venkat, shake out your hands, take a deep breath, and give me your absolute laser focus right now. We are at Section 5, Master the Conversion Math, your exam cheat sheet. This is where the big points are hiding on your exam. If you master this section, you are absolutely guaranteed to score high. You need to consider these two formulas your ultimate exam cheat sheet. Lock them in your brain. If a test question gives you a temperature in Fahrenheit and asks you to find the Celsius equivalent, you use the first formula, C equals 5 times the result of Fahrenheit minus 32, all divided by 9. Now, if the question gives you Celsius and asks for Fahrenheit, you flip to the second formula, F equals Celsius multiplied by 9 over 5, and then you add 32 to that total. There's a really helpful pattern here. When you're finding Celsius, you subtract 32 first inside the parentheses and then multiply by 5 over 9. But when you're finding Fahrenheit, you multiply by 9 over 5 first and add that 32 at the very end. Got that mental picture? Awesome. Let's apply it. Let's put that first formula to work with a classic textbook example. We need to convert 86 degrees Fahrenheit into Celsius. First step, we just plug 86 into the formula where the F is. So C equals 5 times parentheses 86 minus 32 divided by 9. Next, order operations, right? We always do the math inside the parentheses first. 86 minus 32 gives us 54. So now our equation is 5 times 54 divided by 9. Finally, 5 times 54 is 270, and 270 divided by 9 equals exactly 30. Beautiful, clean math. 86 degrees Fahrenheit is exactly 30 degrees Celsius. Now let's try the reverse. Imagine a terribly hot, sticky summer day in Delhi where the temperature hits 45 degrees Celsius. How hot is that in Fahrenheit? We just grab our second formula. F equals parentheses 45 multiplied by 9 over 5 plus 32. Let's tackle that multiplication first. 45 divided by 5 is 9, and 9 times 9 is 81. See how nicely that reduces down? Now we just have 81 plus 32. Add those up, and you get 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Absolutely scorching. If you just follow these steps one by one, calmly, you will literally never get a conversion question wrong.
And there you have it, Venkat. We have fully covered the illusion of touch, the exact definition of temperature, how thermometers use expansion, the differences between the Celsius and Fahrenheit scales, the awesome history of Anders Celsius, and the exact step-by-step math you need to convert temperatures. You have all the tools right here. My challenge to you now is to review this material, practice those 2 math equations until you can do them in your sleep, and walk into that classroom like you completely own it. And hey, don't be greedy. Don't keep all this VIP knowledge to yourself. Grab your classmates, share this explainer with your friends, and test each other on those formulas so all of you can walk in and absolutely crush 7th grade science together. You've got this, Venkat. Good luck studying.